Here we are in the shop again today. We're going to restring my personal guitar. There's some things you need to have that makes the job a lot easier is a string winder, peg winder, and this handy little tool that pops the pegs out. Also a good pair of wire snippers. To get started, there's two ways you can do this. If you're in a hurry, you take the tension off of all the strings, snip all the strings, get them off there, get them back on. If you're like in a production atmosphere. Okay, if you just want to take your time, you do one at a time. Okay, what we want to do is just take that peg, loosen up that string, wind it off. Okay, as you see it coming off, the way it was put on, which I'm going to show you here later on in this video, is a good way to keep it locked in. I've been putting my strings on like this for years, never really have any tuning problems. You can do it just without it, and it'll work just fine, but this gives you a little bit extra safety measure. Here is where we've got the loosened strings here. We cut them right here. We don't have to do that one since it's already off. So there we go. Now we can pull them off this end fairly easily and pull those pegs out, and they all pop out. Okay, here we are. We've got to take the pegs out of the bridge pins, remove those. This is a tool I like to use, the Crafter bridge pin remover. It's never going to wear away. The plastic ones are great. They do a great job of spinning the string on, and they also work like this. You take that cut out, put it right in there, just slowly lift that up. We're ready to start putting the strings back on. I'm going to be using the Elixir Custom Light 11s today. 0 through 52. These have a polyweb coating on them. You get a lot of life out of them. I personally can keep a set on a guitar for 6 months. Start off by showing you how exactly to put that guy in there. I unwind my string, let it lay out there. Stick the ball end in the hole. Gently put that guy in there. Okay, snug it in. And then I'm going to give it a little tug on my string just to kind of make sure it's wedged in there, just like that. Okay. Now, in the winding process, once we get tension on the string, the peg may pop out a little bit. Keep your eye on it. All you got to do is push it back down in, and it will seat. So now we're going to go down to the other end and wind it on. So what we need to do, I always like to have my peg running, so I can just run that string right in there like so. Okay. Pull that through. You want to have about this much slack right here. Start your wind. I like to keep my finger right here so it keeps the string down as close to the bottom of the peg as possible. Now right there we just felt a little pull on that. Now here's what I was talking about earlier. When we started putting some pressure on that peg, it started to come up. So what we want to do is hold that and push back down until it seats real good. And then we should be okay. We've wound the string so the excess is pointing back down towards the bridge. Now this is a technique I learned from my friend Bill Wagoner. What you do to lock this string in, and this is an option, it doesn't have to be done this way, but I found that I have not many tuning problems in my guitar when I string my stuff this way. You bend it back like this, okay? So now we're pointed back the opposite way. You're going to wrap it back around, come underneath the string like so. Takes a little bit of coordination with those fingers. Now, we've wrapped it back around the opposite way. We're coming up like that. So as you can see, when you wind this around, your string end is locked in. So it really can't go much further once it stretches out. Just snug that up as best you can. Wind it up. I always like to keep my winds toward the bottom. Just keeps that string in that nut slot a lot better. Go ahead and get it to tension. Use your snips. Cut that bad boy off and you're done. We'll repeat on the next 5 strings. It's all done. Strings are on. Let's see how it sounds. workshop today. Hope you had, got some enjoyment out of this, maybe learned something. If you need any help with anything, give us a call. Wagoner's Music Shop, 574-936-8714 or www.wagonermusic.com.